I just wanted to talk about how that when Mars moves out of Aries, which is at home, and into Taurus on the 9th or the 10th here, depending on what side of the Earth you are, for sure on the 10th we'll be having, well, now, when Mars hits 1 degree, that will be on the 11th, it squares to Pluto. It's our first Mars square Pluto since it's been in Aquarius. We had a conjunction, but that was long ago. But anyway, Mars is going to square Pluto, and in the air, it's like, okay, so I know it as that just malefic energies and evil just might get its way. We can dial in on the attitude, like you see, Mars would be the attitude. It's strange. Placement would be at 0 or 1 degree. Taurus, I know somebody personally that has the Mars at 0 or 1 degree to Taurus. Is it 0 degrees or is it 29 degrees Aries? Because it says 0 degrees, but they're involved directly. And to that person, I mean, they're already experiencing the Pluto square Mars, which is not easy on. Well, the temperament, I imagine with the Mars in Taurus alone, it starts to go introvert and it starts to avoid. I mean, I just got the feel of an implosion, of an intense, physical really need to outlet, but it goes in, but it's probably going in and out and in and out. So now, does it reach a happy medium with that motion? And so that's Mars and Taurus, which I don't think is going to be as productive as the Mars and Aries. It's now Venus ruled, and it's kind of like it's being forced to be a little stuffy, and even now it's going to get an attitude of the worst kind, probably, because it's not doing what it really likes to do. Mars likes to just work out in the heat and feel the grind, and it's a very physical Mars feel. It's just the soldier that wants to work and be active, and it can't just sit still and not do anything about anything, but it has to in Taurus, and it's just going to be just kind of weird because nobody's going to do anything about anything anyway. They haven't been doing that, so it's just going to be like, well, good luck. There's going to be a butt head there, a literal butt head that says, it's like now I just got the feel of, see, Mars being under Venetian rule in Taurus has this pissed off woman feel. It's the passive aggressive kind of thing, the one that sits there, the narcissist that says, now you got yours because we got ours. And it's like the eye for an eye thing that just makes the whole world go blind. Yay! Anyway, I was just warning about whoa, any kind of war mongrel is unfortunately probably going to get their way. It's just going to be boiling up and it passes, we can probably feel a little bit right now. I mean, if you have anything at that early degree, very just 0 degree Taurus, 1 degree Taurus, really. But then you want to give it a 3 degree or backwards, which goes back into Aries, about 28, 27, and then move forward into. See, I'm experiencing still like it does kind of square my Mercury, and not square. Well, but Mars is it's still mildly opposing my Mercury. So that's what I'm coming up to now. I've already experienced it, and that's why I'm kind of making this high volume of communication outlets. Really thank you for sitting through my therapy together. Hopefully I'm making it productive for you also. Really, if you can work something out within yourself in front of people, then you're the people, right, is going along with you, but that's really controversial. It's like, do you know how to just observe and not absorb? I hope so. If anything, social media is teaching us that like crazy time. So anyway, just noticing how Mars squares Pluto, let alone that Mercury, when it gets down to at 19 degrees or so, it squares uh, Gemini. See, it's in a very auspicious short Gemini run, Mercury is. Hardly 2 weeks, just 2 weeks and 2 days, and then, but in the middle of it, we're going to get a square to Saturn. Yeah, it's a square. And it's like, oh God, might not get the information right. Somebody's going to be upset about that or something. Somebody's going to take something all too seriously. Is probably communications will get a little stuffy, even though we're trying to move along. And poor Gemini, it's like, how could you stifle the short trips? I mean, the kinetic energy of Gemini, but Saturn is there going to pour a bunch of water on it. So watch out for that. Just take a deep breath. It's really a good time, especially with all of the Gemini in the air, babes. I was trying to tell you. Try to ground yourself a lot because it's in the air. There's just too much, and when you get too much of that influence of the mind, be careful of that method that the body takes to slow you down, which is disease and stuff. So you just want to see, particularly for, yeah, I'm speaking for the whole entire humanity, which is the organism. Aries, the head, the ones that really feel a lot, despite what people think about the Aries, they're actually very warm-hearted and they just have the righteous um, disposition of the animal, which is not one to think twice about just moving and acting. They act, and it was a righteous behavior because they felt something, and they're just protecting themselves. And we all have that somewhere in our charts, right? The Aries is in somewhere that is exactly that. It's that energy, and hopefully it's able to be spontaneous and live. Because from there, I mean, really, you're not going to get anywhere unless you awaken that up. And where is it in your chart that might be dampened a little bit? And we're not really, Aries is like, no, we don't really get dampened. See, that's the thing. It's like, where have you just plowed forward and made a pioneering discovery? Is where your where your Aries is found in your houses. But with Mars squaring Pluto, everybody needs to watch out. Look out for it. The villain or the control freak, for sure. The psycho. And of course the narcissist might be flaring up with how weird the air might feel with the first square from Mars to Pluto in Aquarius. It's It's interesting. Just I'm luckily not too directly involved, not at all. I mean, yeah, I have my Mercury is involved with the Mars thing, but it's in another sign though, but it's still by degree it's trippy, because it is pulling in the cardinal right before Taurus, and it's also pulling in the Taurus, the Earth, so it's pulling in air and earth feeling, which yeah, we have that going on. This is a hard coming week. Uh, if you're a Mars kind of person or a Pluto kind of person, then you're definitely going to feel this energy in the air. And see, I have the conjunction, and we can't see the squares seem to think that they can afford to ignore God and the truth and be assholes through and through. And the conjunctions, and even I bet you the opposition is the same in that they can't really afford it. They know you can't afford it. Who affords it? To be a permanent, the problem being the problem, when, oh God, it takes a lot. Now, the opposite of that, see, is being the solution, which with the Mars Pluto afflictions, or more like infusions, we see a powerhouse of a kind of healer that is the real, it's like this therapist that does the capital THE and then small RAPIST. Do the math for yourself. And really, they're going in and ripping out the subconscious wiring. They say this is not of any use and it's a little bit of a trauma, but how would they use that? Well, Mars rules sex and so does Pluto. I mean, we're going to split them up and we have Scorpio, but Aries is really the purest therapist. That we can think of, as far as they just say, come on, just do it, just get out there. They want you to feel your courage and the way that you can push through, give it 110% instead of just 80, and see what happens. See, you want that feeling. You want that person, which is the higher, the better version of yourself, the one that, because you build a muscle there, and then now you're just like, that's just you. You always give 110%, baby. No? Oh. Well, where's your Aries? Because that's where you have been doing it. Well, where we have this here, I mean, it kind of teeter-totters on the Aries, the Mars, but it's in Taurus at 0 and 1 degree, and it has to do with the second house. If you're a humanity and you're just narrowing it down, chicken laying an egg or something. It's a hot June day here on the 5th, going into the 6th, which is the magic numbers. Just take deep breaths. I mean, hopefully everybody has learned their deep breath meditation, and also, you know, with the Mars square Pluto, it might call for, see, the Mars's body and our body, our physical bodies, and Taurus is very much feeling like about like our quality, and you know, it might be a call for changes for a lot of people who might be getting afflicted by this, to change your diet. You might find yourself luckily going into some kind of automatic fasting. That's the best thing you could do is just stop eating for a while and drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of water. Maybe eat fruits. Yeah, eat pure things. Non-GMO. Costs $2 more for everything, but you don't really need that much, really. I'm sorry. I'm not telling you to starve yourself and get all unhealthy, really. But what do you want? Do you want your foggy-headedness, your temperamental, foggy-headed, just pattern, susceptible to falling into disease of? It's just a patterning. It's predictable. It's really your comfort zone that is no good anymore. Really can result for me. I know is just worries. Worries can give you aches and pains in your body. It just eats at you. Anger, for sure. Yeah, if you can't. Why are you angry at people that it's not even your business that they have that problem? You know what I mean? I mean, take care of your own stuff, right? And but we and I personally do not ignore the profound passages we go through with people, and it's up to you to find or pick the role that you actually play in there, because there's always kind of 2 or 3 that you can just say, well, and then go from there, and you can pick those at any time. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, really, and now you're going to go for the victim, or now you're going to go for the one who knew what they were doing, or now you're going to go for the one who's just like, it's all a miracle and I'm open, you know. And your potential really is just probably a concept right now, because how reality really is, it's just this moment now, and you can't stab it with a fork. Should be relieving, really, when you meet somebody who really knows that. They're just like, man, you know what? I don't see what's in your mind and what you're dodging, and it would be good if you just kind of tally up some good experiences from here on out. Not for me, or not even for you. Just what if the kids are watching? Got kids? I don't know. Really though, I mean, the kids are wondering, where did you go? They just want now, and it's like, and don't hold on to the shitty shit. You know, when you're doing it right, that's when you're supposed to hold on to it, right? And the way you know that is when you're feeling good. You feel good. Then you start holding on to that. Try and just make a whole tapestry in your mind. How did it happen? Really, it's just mainly how. Flex that muscle. Flex that muscle. Sorry, I am going to log out now. Wanted to talk about that. Just a fair warning, you know, in the air, and people that are Mars and Pluto, and they might be power trippers. They might just take it by, like, they just might ride the bull by the horns, and it's going to be electrified. Be careful, you know. There's a lot of misunderstanding, because those people will be really rearing up against the ones who are actually righteous, standing next to the truth, and that's what's definitely, whenever you have a planet aspecting Pluto, whether it's a conjunction, opposition, or a square, it's truth time for everybody, and who can sort out what? Usually the one that has the knack down to celebrate truths and doesn't get sick over it, but just kind of gets stronger, because they're not bullshitting. They're not holding on to the mind. They're just saying, you know, I don't know anything. constantly. That's the way you live, folks. I don't care how much school you've gone to. If you can't come out of it saying, I know nothing, you're not going to learn anything. I didn't just say that I, I have a perfect home here. I don't have windows to wash. I don't have a floor to upkeep. I don't have undone shit everywhere. I am just, everything is undone for me. How about you? Did you get everything done? You didn't get plenty of practice. Did you get practice at least to get your shit done? When do you think it gets all done? According to the universe, it's laughing at you. It says, nothing gets done here. Imagine all of your potential right now. I know I do, and I think, well, which one am I going to max out for the rest of my life? You got to pick one because you're never going to get any of them done. And even if you do, you're not going to get it done. And I didn't just say you're not having any fun. There's a secret to this, it's just like celebration. It's like, well, wait a minute, I was definitely present to that, and they weren't. Some people have a different idea of what fun is, and really they don't know what it is. They don't really know what they want. Why? Didn't find God. That's all you want. I mean, really, it's the desired desire. If there's anything to desire with a capital D, yes. God is the goal. And for everybody here, if you're trapped in this, watching this, and you're breathing in and out, you have 5 pointers, and there's still a chance that you give up. Your head is on your neck and you're walking. It's the truth for you that it is the same for all. Luckily, we can get on the same page about this and say, what is the ideal about this? This apple, for instance, there's apples. You're not going to hand somebody over a fucking brown ass, holy worm-laden apple and say, my ideal. Because, well, you can, but nobody will agree. The apple is going to tell you, nobody like, I know what you like, and when I'm right, without a single worm, and you get the picture. See, that's why you don't want to censor anything. This is probably the most important part of this video, and thank God I put a diamond in it. Censorship, it's maybe good for society because you don't want somebody on a collective realization because it could be war. But each individual has a profound responsibility to look into it without curtaining or cloaking because somebody else said to do that. No way! You don't censor anything, especially if it's there. Look at it. Is it safe? Is it safe? Of course it is. You don't have to eat the apple that's rotten only unless you didn't know the difference because you've been doing censorship. You had a basket of apples there. You're censoring it all. You're just censoring it all. And the minute you see an apple, you're just going to grab it. You don't know what it is. And you're like, finally, because somebody's keeping it away from you. It's the same with any subject matter. So you don't know what you're grabbing. But if you saw that, in fact, there's a good version of something and there's a shitty version of it. There's a version that is just not the desired one, babe. And then there's one that is the desired one. But if you censor all of it, babes, once it's there in the basket, you're just going to grab for anyone, and who cares if the worst thing about finding a worm in your apple is finding a half a worm in your apple, right? So never censor anything, and try and just blurt it out, especially in front of the children. Especially if they're not yours, just say, go on their side and try and have an actual conversation. Unlike the people around you, just dial in on the fact that these people know what they're doing better than anybody around them. Age 5.